In 2018, in a small town in Pennsylvania, USA, there was an old roadside hotel called the Maplewood Inn. It was not famous, not luxurious, and not very busy. Mostly truck drivers and travelers stayed there for one night and left the next morning. But room 407 was different. Employees avoided it. Some guests asked to change rooms after staying there for only a few minutes, and some left the hotel in the middle of the night without even asking for a refund. My name is Daniel Carter, and I worked as a night receptionist in that hotel for almost 2 years. What I am about to tell you happened to me personally. The first strange incident. Everything was normal in the beginning. One night, around 11:30 p.m., a man in his late 30s checked in. His name was Mark Wilson. He looked tired, like someone who had been driving for many hours. I gave him the room key. Room 407. He smiled and said, "Just need a few hours of sleep." At 1:10 a.m., the hotel phone rang. It was from room 407. I picked up. A man's voice whispered, "Can you come here? Something is wrong." I asked, "Sir, what happened?" He replied in a shaky voice, "There is someone standing in the corner of my room." I felt a chill. I said, "Maybe it's your shadow," or he cut me off. "No, it's not a shadow. It's a woman. She's not moving." I grabbed the master key and went upstairs. When I opened the door of room 407, the room was empty. No guest, no luggage, no signs of anyone staying there. The bed was perfectly made, but the bathroom light was on, and the mirror had something written on it with steam. "He can see you too." That night, I told myself it was a prank or some kind of misunderstanding. I was wrong. The hotel's dark secret. The next morning, I asked the manager about room 407. He became quiet. Then he said, "Don't ever give that room to anyone again." Later, I searched old newspapers online, and what I found changed everything. In 2003, a woman named Emily Harper was murdered in that room. She was staying there with her husband. According to police reports, the husband said, "I woke up and saw her standing in the corner, staring at me." He claimed he panicked and attacked her, but the investigation revealed something terrifying. Emily was already dead when he woke up. She had been dead for more than 3 hours. So who or what was he seeing in the corner? The second guest. 2 weeks later, during a busy night, all rooms were full. Only room 407 was available. At 12:40 a.m., a young woman named Sarah Mitchell checked in. I hesitated, but the manager wasn't there, and the system already assigned the room. That night, at 2:03 a.m., the phone rang again. Room 407. My hands started shaking. I answered. Sarah was crying. She said, "There is a woman standing near my bed. She's wet, and her neck is broken." I said, "Please leave the room immediately." She whispered, "She's smiling at me." Then the call disconnected. I ran upstairs with security. When we opened the door, Sarah was lying on the floor, unconscious. The mirror in the bathroom had a message written in steam. "She watches you when you sleep." Sarah survived, but she never spoke again. Doctors said it was severe psychological trauma. The final night. 3 months later, I decided to quit. But on my last night shift, something happened that I will never forget. At 3:15 a.m., the phone rang. The screen showed room 407. But that room was locked. No one had stayed there for weeks. I answered, and I heard my own voice. It said, "Daniel, she's standing behind you." My blood turned gold. Slowly, I felt someone breathing near my neck, and in the reflection of the glass window in front of me, I saw her, a woman, her neck broken, standing in the corner, smiling. What happened next? I don't remember how I survived. I woke up in the hospital. The hotel was closed forever 2 months later. They say the building was demolished, but sometimes, at night, I still get a call from an unknown number, and when I answer, I hear a whisper,
You can still see me, can't you? Is this story true? The police reports exist. The hotel existed. The guests existed. And I wish I was lying.
My name is Daniel Carter, and no matter how far I run, room 407 follows me. After the hotel was shut down and demolished, the police said the case was closed. But that was a lie, because she didn't die in that building. She was attached to me. The first call after the hotel closed. 3 weeks after I was discharged from the hospital, I moved to a new city. New phone number, new apartment, new life. Or at least I tried. On my first night in the new apartment, at exactly 3:15 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't want to answer, but I did. And I heard breathing, then a familiar whisper. "Daniel, why did you leave me there?" My hands started shaking. I said, "Who is this?" She replied, "You know who I am. You saw me." The call ended. When I checked my call log, the number didn't exist. The first appearance. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 4 a.m., I went to drink water. When I passed the mirror in the hallway, I saw her, standing behind me, her neck broken, her dress wet, her eyes empty. I turned around. Nothing was there. But the mirror had a message written in steam. "You can't escape." I broke the mirror that same night. Searching for the truth. I contacted a private investigator. His name was Robert Hayes. I told him everything. He thought I was hallucinating until I showed him the hospital reports and the police files and the old newspaper articles. Then he agreed to investigate Emily Harper's past. 2 weeks later, he called me, and his voice was not normal. He said, "Daniel, Emily Harper was not the first." The other victims. Robert discovered something horrifying. In 3 different states, over the past 40 years, there were 6 hotels. In every hotel, same room number, always 407 or 307, same story. A guest sees a woman standing in the corner, someone dies or goes insane, the hotel eventually closes, and in every case, the woman's name was different, but the face was the same. The real truth about Emily. Emily Harper never existed. That was a fake name. Her real name was Margaret Holloway. In 1979, she was a nurse in a small town. She was accused of killing patients, but before the police could arrest her, she disappeared. 1 year later, the first room 407 incident happened, and the description of the woman in the police sketch was Margaret. The investigator's last message. 3 days after telling me this, Robert Hayes went missing. The police found his car. His phone was still inside. The last voice message he recorded was sent to me. It said, "Daniel, she's not following you. She's using you. You're opening the door for her." The pattern. I started noticing something. Every time she appeared, someone near me had an accident. My neighbor fell from the stairs and died. A coworker crashed his car after saying, "I saw someone in my back seat." And then I understood. She wasn't haunting places. She was haunting people. And now she had chosen me. The dream that was not a dream. One night I dreamed I was in a hospital. Old, dirty, dark. I saw her lying on a bed, alive. Her neck was normal. She looked at me and said, "They killed me, and now I need someone to help me finish." I woke up screaming. My hands were wet, and they smelled like hospital disinfectant. The hidden basement. Robert's research files were sent to me by his sister. In them, I found an address, an abandoned hospital, the place where Margaret Holloway worked. I went there. In the basement, I found a locked room. Inside, there were dozens of photos. Photos of hotel rooms, photos of mirrors, photos of people sleeping. And in every photo, she was standing in the corner, watching. The recording. There was also a tape recorder. I pressed play. A woman's voice said, "If you are hearing this, she has chosen you. The only way to stop her is to return her to where it began." The final line. On the wall of the basement, written in dark letters, "She needs a body." And behind me, I heard breathing. Slow, cold, and a whisper. "Thank you for bringing me home, Daniel." To be continued.
My name is Daniel Carter, and this is not a story. This is a warning. If you ever see a woman standing in the corner of your room, do not look at her, do not talk to her, and never, ever follow her. The basement was not empty. After I heard her whisper in the abandoned hospital basement, my body refused to move. The air was cold, heavy. I could feel her behind me, not touching, just waiting. Slowly, I turned around. she was there. Her face was no longer broken. Her eyes were no longer empty. She looked normal, almost human. She smiled and said, "You brought me back, Daniel. You always were the kind one." I said, "What are you?" She replied, "I am what happens when people pretend they did nothing wrong." The truth about her death. The hospital records were still there, hidden, burned, but not destroyed. Margaret Holloway was not killed by patients. She was killed by other nurses and doctors. She had discovered something. They were ending lives early, selling organs, making money. When she tried to report them, they broke her neck and wrote "accident" in the files. And everyone moved on, except she didn't. Why she needs a body. She cannot touch. She cannot leave. She cannot finish what she started unless someone lets her in. The fear, the mirrors, the calls, they are not to kill. They are to break you, to make you weak, to make you open. And once you do, she wears you. What she did to Robert, I finally understood. Robert didn't disappear. He was taken, used, and then thrown away. She showed me. The basement wall changed, like a screen. I saw Robert, in my body, smiling at a woman standing in the corner. Then his neck twisted, and everything went black. The rule, she told me, you can't destroy me. You can only replace me. That is the rule. One body for another. One door closes, another opens. My choice. She held out her hand. "You're tired, Daniel. Let me carry it now." I saw all the faces, the guests, the girl who never spoke again, the man who jumped, the woman who fell, all because of me, because I survived, because I was chosen. I said, "No." The mirror trick. Mirrors are not for showing, they are for opening. I remembered the writings, always on mirrors, always in glass. I took a broken mirror shard from the floor and held it between us. She screamed, not in pain, in fear, because she could see herself, and for the first time, she was trapped. The door. In the basement wall, a door appeared. Old, wooden, with the number 407. She said, "If I go in, someone must close it." I said, "I will." What really happened? I didn't push her. I stepped in with her, because the rule was a lie. It always was. She didn't need a body. She needed a witness, someone to remember, someone to keep the door closed from inside room 407. It is not a room. It is a waiting place. All the faces are here. All the victims, not dead, not alive. They just wait. She is here too, but she is not in control anymore. She cannot leave, and neither can I. The last call. Sometimes, the phone rings. When someone is about to open the door, I answer, and I say, "There is someone standing in the corner of your room." And if they listen, the door stays closed. If they don't, I get a new neighbor. Why you are reading this? Because the door is not a place. It is a story. And stories are doors. And now, you know. So listen carefully tonight. If your phone rings at 3:15 a.m. and the screen shows unknown, do not answer. And if you see a woman standing in the corner, do not look at her, because she might not be trying to come to you. She might be trying to leave.
In January 2014, in a small, forgotten town near Montana, USA, something happened that the government never officially explained. The town's name was Black Ridge. It was a quiet place. Too quiet. Only 312 people lived there. Winters were brutal. Snowfall never stopped. Most houses stayed buried under white blankets for months. But what happened one winter night changed everything. And only one person came back alive to tell the story. The discovery. 3 college friends, Ethan Walker, Mark Hill, and Sarah Collins, were traveling across the northern states to record winter landscapes for their YouTube channel. They loved abandoned places, old roads, forgotten towns, broken houses. On January 17th, their GPS stopped working near Black Ridge. It was already getting dark. Snow was falling heavily. They were about to turn back when Sarah saw something strange. Look, there's a house there. In the middle of nothing. No road, no lights, no nearby buildings. Just a single wooden house standing in the snow like it was waiting for someone. The house. The house was old, 2 floors, white paint peeling off. The windows were black, like empty eyes. No footprints around it, no smoke, no sound. Mark laughed. Maybe someone lives here. We can ask for help. Ethan felt something was wrong. There's no path, no tracks. How does anyone even reach this place? But the cold was getting worse. Their car was almost out of fuel. So they walked toward the house. Each step felt heavier. The air felt thick. Inside the snow house, Ethan knocked. No answer. The door slowly opened by itself. That was the first warning. Inside, it was strangely warm. Too warm. There was furniture, a dining table, old photos on the wall. But everything was covered in dust, not snow, like no one had been here for years. Yet, the fireplace was still warm. Sarah whispered, "Someone is here." The photos. They looked at the photos on the wall. Family pictures. A man, a woman, 2 children, all smiling. But the strangest thing was, in every photo, there was one more person standing in the corner. Tall, thin, face blurred. In every picture, watching. The basement door. Mark found a door behind the stairs. It led to the basement. It was locked, and from behind it came a slow knocking sound. Knock, 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 like someone was inside, or something. Sarah said, "We should leave, now." But Mark, being curious, tried to open it. The door suddenly stopped knocking. Silence. Then, a whisper came from inside. "Why did you come back? They were not the first." Ethan felt his blood turn cold. "Back." Mark slowly opened the door. The basement was dark. Too dark. They used our flashlight, and what they saw made Sarah scream. The walls were covered with names, hundreds of names, scratched into the wood. Some were fresh, some were very old. And among them, they saw 3 new names: Ethan Walker, Mark Hill, Sarah Collins. The truth. Suddenly, the basement door slammed shut behind them. The lights went out, and the whisper came again. "You came here before." The walls started changing. The basement didn't look like a basement anymore. It looked like a frozen forest, and in front of them stood the tall man from the photos. No face, just darkness, and a smile. Inside the head, not on it. The creature's game. The thing spoke. "This house appears only to those who are already lost. You were here 5 years ago. You died here, and now you came back to remember." Suddenly, memories flooded their minds. A car crash, snowstorm, screaming. They had already died on this road years ago. Their bodies were never found. The choice, the creature said, "One of you can leave. 2 must stay. Rules are rules." The house began to shake. The walls started bleeding. Yes, bleeding. Mark started crying. Sarah was shaking. Ethan tried to fight the creature, but his hands went through it, like smoke. The end of Mark. Mark ran. The floor turned into ice. He slipped, and the darkness swallowed him. His scream echoed, and then stopped. His name disappeared from the wall. Sarah's fate. Sarah fell to her knees. "I don't want to stay here." The creature touched her forehead. She froze, literally, turned into a statue of ice, her eyes still open, still begging. Ethan escapes. Ethan closed his eyes and ran. He ran through the door, through the snow, through the darkness, and suddenly, he woke up on the road, alone. A rescue team found him unconscious near Black Ridge. They said he was the only survivor of a car crash, but Ethan knew that was not the truth. The last proof. Months later, he searched for the house. It didn't exist. No one in Black Ridge had ever seen it. But one night, he found a photo on his phone,
A family photo with him, Mark, and Sarah standing in front of a White House, and in the corner, a tall figure, smiling. Final line. They say, if you ever see a house standing alone in deep snow with no footprints or hobbit, do not go inside, because it is not a house. It is a memory of where you already died.